All right, so let's quickly recap now what we've covered during today's live stream. We talked about uncertainty and how, while the world is always uncertain, today we are living in a world that is much more uncertain than most times in history. We really don't know what the world is going to be like in 3 months from now, in 6 months from now, in a year from now. Whether we will be in the worst depression that has ever happened or whether we'll somehow make it out of this in some way slightly scathed. We don't know, right? And planning, therefore, while still valuable because it helps you kind of assess the current situation, planning in and of itself, you can't expect to operate in a plan and then execute kind of methodology because the likelihood is that the environment will change. What used to work tomorrow might not work the day after tomorrow. So one of the things that we talked about was this idea of a pre-mortem, right? After you've come up with a plan, after you've figured out what you're going to do, to then have a meeting. Either, if you work by yourself, maybe ask a couple of friends at different times. If you work in a team, then with your team, and do a pre-mortem. Like pretend that this project that you're about to do did not work. Why didn't it work? Right? So that's step one. Why didn't it work? And you come up with a bunch of reasons why it didn't work, right? Then now you can start to eliminate the ones that you think are least likely to happen, the ones that have more probability of happening, or that if they happened could destroy the project, right? And then from those, you look at what could I be on the alert for? What could I notice for? What would be the first signal that this wasn't good, right? Like, would I have a bad, would the click-through rates on the ad be bad? Would the landing page not get, whatever it is, because then you can start to actually insert into the plan like these points of reference to determine whether you're off track or on track. So that's first, right? And then from there, what metrics could you look at to help guide you in knowing when to pivot or not? So that's first, right? The next is to think about what assumptions you're operating under for that project to work, and then to revisit those assumptions whenever you're looking at the stats to think about, have any of your assumptions changed? And not only you, but other members on your team, right? Part of this whole idea of strategy being emergent is to recognize, we've moved from plan and execute to a minimum sense and respond. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have goals, but goals now act more like a horizon. We kind of chart our course to get there, but we recognize that success might have to get like this to get there as opposed to a straight line. So, emergence as a concept most people are familiar with, right? It's that these small little variables can cause the bigger system quantum changes. Here, as a strategy, we're really talking about that the idea of yesterday guiding our behaviors tomorrow is not the best approach, especially for entrepreneurial businesses in times of crazy uncertainty, which we're in today. So, first and foremost, recognize that. Second, do pre-mortems. Post-mortems, still valuable, right? Recognize the assumptions that you are operating under. Recognize that no really long-term big cash outlay of investments should probably be made. You should be operating within 3-month periods at most, 12-week years, so to speak. And that would be my advice for you today as far as operating in times of uncertainty. We covered a bunch of other stuff in the live stream, lots of questions that I answered today. So not exactly all just about that, but we talked about the pre-mortem, about signals, about servicing assumptions, and playing all out, recognizing that times might be very different in a year, and you don't want to have regrets about how you spent this time right now. So with that said, I hope for those of you that were on the whole time, I hope you got lots of value from this. If you did, please share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, comment if you'd like. I answer all comments. And I do these live streams on Facebook every Tuesday and Thursdays, Tuesdays from 2 to 4, Thursdays from 4 to 6. And always interested in what you'd like me to cover, so feel free to drop me a line in the comments. Let me know what you'd like me to cover. And show up, ask me a question. I'd be glad to answer your questions and help you grow your business. And with that all said, I will see everyone next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern to Higher Profits and Beyond. This is Rich Schefren, over and out.